Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we talk about problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with a video.
I got married a year ago, and it's been amazing. We found out a few months later that we were pregnant. I've always wanted to have kids, so I was super excited. I can't believe I have a baby coming. I'm going to be a mother soon. My husband and I have been friends for a long time, almost 10 years. We never dated until 3 years ago. We thought we should give it a try because why not? And everything fell into place. My husband is the fun one between the two of us. There was always laughter whenever he was around. He does these pranks that are mostly funny but sometimes annoying. He doesn't take life too seriously and thinks you'll be taking the fun out of life if everything is so boxed up and serious. I am the quiet one and I kind of cut off his excesses, so we work well together. He helps me live a little more and I keep him in check. Some days ago, I told him that since we have a kid coming, he can't prank me as much as he used to. I take it because he loves to do it, but it's a baby we are talking about, so I wouldn't take chances. I also made him promise not to do anything crazy when he told me about a prank he saw. I jokingly told him that a pregnant wife can be very emotional, so he better not get on my wrong side. A friend will handle the gender reveal, and I'm so excited about it. I wanted a baby girl, but my husband wanted a boy that he could play with. I was like, really? That's why you want a boy? That is ridiculous, but okay. Our friend said she would handle everything, including the expenses. That was so nice of her. It's been a lot for us just getting married and moving into a new home. It came with expenses, so it was a relief and a blessing that we didn't have to deal with the gender reveal. I already took the test at the hospital and handed her the envelope, so she's the only one who knows what we're having. I called her the other day to give me hints, but she caught me before I could do anything. She mentioned that my husband also tried to get it out of her. I guess I have to wait till the weekend. I'm so excited. Last week, we didn't have the gender reveal because I wasn't feeling well. I had to go to the hospital, just thought to give you updates because I know many of you were waiting to know if it was a boy or a girl. I wished my friend would just tell me without the party. She knew that I would regret it if she gave me the envelope because it was my first baby, so she talked me out of it. But I'm so desperate to know, and the suspense is so annoying. Anyway, I'm getting better now. I just got discharged a day ago and I feel stronger and ready for the party. When I felt sick, it was scary though. I was so weak and my back was aching. I just was not myself and it was not funny. My husband was so worried he couldn't even joke around, unlike him. He refused to leave my side. I thought it was so cute. On the day I felt sick, I was supposed to go get something to wear for the gender reveal, so now I have nothing to wear. I can't wear something I already own because nothing fits me. I knew that I would get bigger, but I was not expecting to get this big. My husband said he loves how thick I became, and if I wasn't careful, we might just have baby 2 coming soon. Can you imagine? You guys, I just came to give this update quickly. Nothing fits me. I now wear 3 sizes up. Well, it's not a surprise because I've been eating so much. I'm craving a lot of cheese and meat. Anything for my baby, though. I'm also getting really emotional. Sometimes I wonder why I'm crying. I had read all these things about how pregnant women behaved and I laughed at it, saying it would never happen to me. Even when I saw my sister pregnant and she had some of these characteristics, I was still like, this will never happen to me. I'll never be that person, and I will not do this or do that. But right now, it is safe to say that I'm a typical pregnant lady. I went to the regular shops that I would go to get clothes normally, and I was disappointed, to say the least, but I found something lovely at some random store. I went shopping with my husband. He mentioned that he didn't want anything and could just wear what he had at home, but I was not having that. We are both wearing white, and we're going to wear something new. I went on to look for something for him to wear. Getting him clothes was much easier. My gender reveal was today. I am so pissed at my husband. He did some stupid prank even though he promised that he wouldn't do anything crazy. Some weeks back, I saw him watching videos on gender reveal pranks. He spoke about how funny it would be to do a prank on us. I immediately told him not to do it. He promised, but he broke his promise. Life isn't a joke. Who does a prank on a gender reveal anyway? The most annoying part is that the prank went wrong. He had planned it with our best friend, the one who was supposed to plan the gender reveal. We were supposed to cut a cake to reveal the color. The color of the cake will let us know if we're having a boy or a girl. All our friends and family gathered around the table, anticipating the big news. When I cut the cake, I saw that it was a vanilla cake. Now, the flavor wasn't the problem. There was no color. So it was like there was a mistake or something. My husband and our friend prolonged the prank until it got out of hand. I even called the caterer to ask why she mixed up the order, and I was rude to her, but she didn't say anything to me because she knew it was a prank. After finding out, I felt horrible because I wasn't nice to her. They couldn't find the balloon that we were supposed to pop to let us know if we were having a boy or a girl, so everything went wrong and I was so upset. They later found the balloon. We were having a girl. Yay! I decided to let my anger slide for when we went back home. He wasn't going to hear the last of it until I made sure that he understood that he shouldn't have tried to prank us. It was such an important day. Plus, the prank was not adequately planned for. It was supposed to be a happy day, but my husband spoiled it. You can tell that the vibes had changed. So after we learned that we were having a girl, most people just went home. That was not the initial plan. I wanted to be with my friends and family and to have fun together. There was so much tension between my husband and me, so I understood why everyone left. Anyone who knew me would know that I was boiling inside, but I kept my cool. I couldn't understand why he would try to do something like this on one of the most important days of our lives. Having a baby is no joke. My best friend came in to apologize to me for how the day went. She said she didn't know that I had explicitly asked not to be pranked. When my husband spoke to her about doing a prank, she said it was a good idea because she knew that he usually pranked me. She mentioned how it was her fault that they couldn't find the balloon, where everything started going downhill. There's not much I could say to her, for my husband was the problem. He was the one who knew what I wanted, but went the extra mile to go against my wishes. I told her that it was okay and that the deed had already been done. When we got home, I told my husband that he didn't have the right to do what he did. He tried to defend himself, but he knew that he had no point. He mentioned that he thought that I said I didn't want anything crazy, but he could still go ahead with a prank. I had nothing more to say to him than that life is not a joke and there's a place and time for everything. I usually like to trash whatever issue we had before going to bed, but I didn't feel like it this time. I wanted him to understand that I wasn't okay with what he did and that I meant everything I said to him. I wouldn't have him playing around when we have a baby. We would have to wait until she is grown up, which will take some time. I wished he knew when not to joke and what not to joke about. The next day, I think he got the message because the first thing he said to me was that he was sorry. He admitted that he was adamant about my wishes because he wanted to get everyone's reaction when they got pranked. He said it was hilarious but wasn't worth it because he spoiled the day for everyone else, especially me. I forgave him after seeing the video of my reaction. It was amusing, but I still told him not to prank me with serious things. NTA. I'm a prankster too, so I understand why he wanted to do it. It must have been hilarious. Please don't be mad at him too much because I see myself doing that prank in the near future.
Next story.
My wife, Amanda, 33, took up baking as a hobby during the first lockdown and really threw herself into it. We got one of those Kenwood mixers for the kitchen and different tools and pans. She learned how to make all kinds of amazing desserts and cakes. She's even discussed starting a side business one day. I know she's very passionate about it, and I love that. The problem is that it's becoming every day now. She's a SAHM and manages to make time. I've been trying to lose my extra lockdown pounds for the past year now, and every attempt is thwarted by the smell of some kind of new cookie or cake or pastry. I've actually put on weight since I vowed to lose it. I'm 250 pounds, which is the highest weight I've ever been. It's impossible to be healthy when there's so much home-baked goods in the house. Our entire family has put on weight too. Our daughter got a letter from the school nurse saying she was obese, which Amanda dismissed as puppy fat. I used to take our two sons on runs with me, but they never want to come anymore, and when they do, they just moan I'm going too fast and get out of breath. They want to go home to play Xbox. There's always fights as well about who had how many of each pastry, and it's like feeding time at the animal house because they all want to get their fair share before their siblings. Call me old-fashioned or the food police, but I really don't think that kids should be having desserts and baked goods every day, especially in the quantities we seem to be getting through. Even my mother commented on how they all seem to have gotten chubby. Amanda is the exception to this. I suspect a little that she pushes the treats onto me and the kids because she wants to bake, but doesn't want to put on weight herself, as she's always been very concerned with her weight and size. I talked to her about it, and I asked her that maybe she could bake less often or give the food to other people because it's not good for us to have around the house all the time. She said that I wasn't being supportive of her passion. She's said before that she feels useless because she can never get back to work or her career again, even though I appreciate the work she does around the home. I told her about how I'm trying to lose weight and be healthier, but it's really challenging to keep to any goals, and she said that I should just not eat what she makes, which is easier said than done. When I mentioned the kids, she thought I was implying she was a bad mother. She says that it makes them happy, and she wasn't going to tell them what they can and can't eat if they're hungry. I told her that if the kids are obese, adults one day, and they wonder why, that she'll be to blame, and she hasn't spoken to me since. AITA for putting the responsibility of my family's health on her shoulders? I highlighted a part I think many people were skipping over as they are suggesting it in the comments. She doesn't want the food going to anyone else, homeless, shelters, OAP homes, etc., because she feels like the recipes aren't perfect yet, so she wants to keep practicing with the family. When I make those suggestions, she thinks I'm implying that we don't like her baking and gets upset. She does have anxiety, and I feel like this might play a part. Thank you everyone for the responses and suggestions. A few people have mentioned eating disorders, and Amanda has a history of anorexia. She was fully recovered when we met. It seems like that might be linked to the anxiety around her baking. Letting me and my children have this food could be her way of making peace with how she doesn't allow herself to, or exerting control over our diets herself, or our weight gain making her look slimmer in comparison. She sees a therapist once a month for anxiety, but she's not spoken to anyone specifically about eating disorders for a while, and it wasn't on my radar at all. I think I'm going to somehow find a way to broach this subject with her. I'm also going to try and get the kids into the doctors to do some blood tests and a health checkup. Actually, I should get one done too. I don't want the kids to feel in any way responsible or at fault for this, especially our daughter. So we'll also have to be gentle here. But my main concern is the amount of sugar they must be having. Hopefully, words from the doctor might help Amanda see the reality of the problem and how it is affecting the kids. I don't know the route to take with the baking, but I think I'm going to have to set some boundaries with the kids, even if it means throwing away food and hurting Amanda's feelings. It's not fair to the children to let it continue as it is. Also, thank you to those who made me feel better about my weight loss failings given the situation. I know it's my fault, I put on weight, but it has felt like an uphill battle in this environment. NTA. When the school nurse has to send a note home about your kid's weight, there's an issue.
Next story.
I, 42 male, advised my friend, 29 female, to open her own bank account because her husband, 39, was becoming very possessive over money in the joint account when she started making a good wage. When they were first married, she was a nanny without much of an income. They agreed to have a joint account and split the bills. They used the shared account for expenses. his child support, everything. She was able to use the joint account for going out and general expenses. She never spent much and respected that she didn't make as much. Also, it was and still is rare for her to go out without her husband. Over the years, she got a well-paid job earning close to his income, equal or more. She deposited her paychecks into the joint account for a while, and there were no issues. She continued her frugal habits despite making and contributing similar money. They continued going out together like they always had, perhaps splurging a little more. All the while, he began buying a lot of new things for himself: shoes, computers, and more. She spent a little bit updating her wardrobe because she had a new job and needed more professional clothing. He became displeased with the additional amount they were spending and took away her card in order to control expenses. He eventually returned it to her but complained whenever she used it. This pattern continued for a year or two, with him spending money on nice things and getting mad at her for using the card, even when she used it when they were out together and it could have been either of them. When I came to understand the situation, I advised her to open her own account and direct deposit into it. I continued to give this advice and to offer help to make that happen for months, if not years. Finally, she opened her own account and changed direct deposit into it. I was so excited and proud of her for taking control of her finances. Her husband was pissed. He threw away the debit card when it arrived in the mail and claimed that he thought it was junk mail. I told him he was being unreasonable because she deserved to have control of her money. He called me a lot of names, including an a-hole. He also called her a lot of names, including an a-hole. To be clear, she is my friend, and he is also, although it's stained. I have all along told him that it seemed was unfair. NTA took away her card in order to control expenses? No, no, no. This is very, very big red flag for future abuse. And clearly over the line right now. She is an adult and he is trying to exert control over her, completely disregarding her agency. Simply ask her this: why is he allowed to decide what counts as reasonable or not? Doesn't matter how much money she makes or he spends. This is financial abuse, plain and simple.